When I first started my journey in remote sales, I couldn't find an offer for the life of me, and I felt insecure because I felt like people didn't want to work with me. And now that I've had some skin in the game and I've closed a few $1 million, I now have a new problem where I have too many offers to choose from. So in this video today, I'm going to show you exactly how to find an offer because this is the video I wish I had when I first started.
All right, so let's find an offer for remote sales on Facebook. Okay, one important thing you have to understand is that remote sales is the opposite of any sales thing that you've ever done. Okay, maybe you were in insurance or door-to-door. I was in door-to-door, right? When I first started, I remember I applied on a job with Glassdoor or like Indeed, and I would go in the next day to get interviewed. I would interview with like a bunch of people, and then we'd all be in the same room together. They'd brief us, and then the real part was when we went in the field, and then we kind of sold, right? You know how it is. People start leaving, right? People start leaving, people start getting fired, etc. And then the ones who are really able to do well are the ones that stay, right? With remote sales, it's actually pretty much the opposite. Remote sales, the hardest part is going to be to find the job, right? There is no Glassdoor, there is no Indeed, and then when you actually get the job, it's actually really easy to close. And the reason for this is because the leads are warm, right? And you get to do everything from home. So it's such a coveted job position. Everybody wants to do this, that there's just not that many spots to go around. The other thing you have to understand is effort is absolutely everything. And you have to see this entire application process as kind of a big ladder, okay? And every piece of effort that you put in, the message that you send that was better, the video that you send that was better, right, is a step that other people aren't willing to take. And because of that, they're falling off the ladder and you're climbing step by step by step. And if you can do that, even if you have no experience, but you put in effort, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna find an amazing offer and you're gonna make plenty of money. So we find jobs on Facebook through something called groups, okay? Facebook groups essentially. And they're all just sales groups. There's like the sales pipeline bros, high ticket closers, opportunities, etc. And what this is it's just a bunch of people who are from a company or maybe they own a company and they're looking for salespeople, so they post and that's how they recruit. All right. So for example, this one, Sales Pipeline Bros, it's a great group. Shout out to Zach Brown. It's just, for example, this lady named Kelsey. She posts, she's looking for closers. There's 1 or 2 spots left. And she's hiring, you know, like her clients scaling from 1 million to a month. That means that there's plenty of leads, right? And this is what they want and the requirements, etc. You get the point, okay? And there's plenty of these kinds of applications, okay? Now you might be thinking, we're finding jobs on Facebook that's honestly a little bit sketchy, right? You're not wrong, it is sketchy, but this is just the method that works. A lot of the top companies, most of them are still looking for jobs with this method. It seems too simple, it seems too good to be true, but I guarantee you this works. Before we start applying, we need to have one thing set up, and that's our Facebook profile, okay? This is basically like imagine you cook, right? You need a pot and a pan, you need some food. If you don't have that, you can't cook. This is your pot and pan and food, right? Your Facebook profile. So the main thing to look out for here is just you want to look like a real person, okay? Because there's a lot of bots on Facebook if you haven't noticed already. So think of what does a real person have on their profile. They probably have a legit profile picture. They probably have a cover photo. Definitely have some sort of bio where, you know, where they studied, where they worked, etc. And they probably have a few posts as well, right? And another thing is they have enough friends and also the right kind of friends. I would recommend you have at least 100+ friends. And you have to make sure that these friends are not looking suspicious. I see a lot of Facebook profiles where the first 3, 6, 9 friends are all Indian men, right? Or they're all like, you know, elusive looking women. This is not a good look for you because that's the kind of friends that, you know, bots have. So make sure your friends list is a bunch of different demographics and different genders. Now the other thing is you have to make sure that your profile picture can't be interpreted negatively, right? I remember when I was applying for jobs on Facebook back then, I would see a lot of pictures where it was a guy that looked like an F-boy, right? Or it was a really young-looking dude, or it was a girl with her chest out. You got to realize you might be a great person, an angel, but if your profile picture says otherwise, that's the only thing that those people who are you know, judging you know about you. So if you look super young, then you know you might be a 30-year-old man, but they don't know that. So make sure that your profile picture is very neutral and it can't be seen in a bad way. So now let's actually start to apply for jobs, right? So what I usually do is I start by looking at when the most recent postings was, because that's, you know, when they're the most desperate for closers. This one is December 2nd, 2024. So it's literally like 6 days ago. It's not bad. I usually like to apply for things at least 2 weeks posted. If you run out of things 2 weeks ago, then you can always go down a month or 2 months or 3 months. I've never seen a company that's willing to pass up on a good closer, right? So for example, let's just use Kelsey, right? So Kelsey, we just took a look at it earlier, but basically, so it looks like she has 1 spot left for closers and 2 spots left for setters. If you have no experience, right, I'd recommend you go for the setter position because there's just a lot less competition and you can always move up to a closer if you're actually a good setter. So what I'm looking out for here before I apply to anything is I'm looking for red flags because in this industry, if something sounds too good to be true, it absolutely is probably going to be too good to be true. So let's see here. So let's first look for the on-target earnings. Here on Base, she basically says you can make 15K plus a month. The closer can make, top 5 closers made between 15 and 22K last month. Average is 10 to 15. That's very, very realistic for a well-oiled offer. The closer should be able to make between $10,000 and $20,000. So this is good. Appointment setter 5 to 8K a month OTE. Last month top setter made 9K. Average is 5 to 8K. This is also very, very realistic. So great, this looks good. And if you ever need some special confirmation, just look at their Facebook profile, right? If they have mutual friends that are, well-respected people in the industry, right? These 2 guys, as far as I know, are very well-respected guys. Then it's a very, very positive sign. So let's actually go ahead and apply to her offer now. So first things first, make sure you read the directions, right? Ready to join a setter. She tells us to comment and DM her Ryu closer or Ryu setter, right? And you're going to notice everybody asks for different things. Like Tamisha is going to ask for DMs, right? This guy is going to ask for DM me with a video, right? Just make sure you follow directions, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just follow her directions here. Comment here and DM me Ryu closer or Ryu setter. She didn't say what to comment, so I'm just going to basically comment something like, hey, super interested in this, right? It's totally fine. And then she also said, DM Ryu closer or Ryu setter. Now, very important to notice this actually. So she said DM her Ryu closer or Ryu setter. You're going to see these people in the comments, they're commenting Ryu setter or Ryu closer. They didn't follow the instructions. She said to DM her. These people have fallen off the ladder. So let's go ahead and send her a message here, but I want to send a few other things first to her, right? I want to send her, number 1, an elevator pitch, and I also want to send her a video about me because I know this is what other people are not doing. So I want to send those messages first and then the Ryu closer or Ryu setter last because that's the message she's going to see when she's scrolling through her inbox. So my elevator pitch, I structure this in a very way where it's not too long and not too short. So if it's too long, you don't want to be that guy who's like begging for an offer, right? And you also don't want to be the guy that's not trying hard enough. So I like to structure in a way where I give an intro, I give my experience, and I give them a CTA to watch the video that I'm also going to send them. So the intro can be something just like, hey Kelsey, saw your posting on, saw your posting for REIU on Sales Pipeline Bros. Boom, that's all you need for the intro, right? It's short and concise. And then in terms of experience, whatever you're applying for, so let's say I'm applying for a closer, I'm going to give her relevant experience or relevant information on my closing experience. So I have closed over $3 million this year in the info product space at an over 70% close rate. 70% close rate. I'm looking for a job because I have a lot of extra time and would like to open up my experience, right? And boom, that's my experience right there. And the last thing I'm going to actually send them is a CTA to watch the video that I'm going to send them, okay? So I also just made a loom for you. Please let me know when you see it. And if you have any feedback for me. And that's it. So we detailed our intro, experience, and I have a CTA for a loom. So now you're probably wondering, what if I don't have any experience, right? How am I going to get this offer? I've never been on remote sales before. That's totally okay. Okay, you have to realize a lot of these companies sometimes are willing to hire inexperienced people because most of the experienced people have super bad habits that they have to unlearn before they actually get good. So how you can kind of stand out if you have no experience is you just have to put more effort in, right? So detail your message better, right? Make it sound more coherent, make it sound like you have a personality, right? And on your Loom video, maybe just do it like 20 different times until you really get the point across that you have no experience, but you're very hungry and you will do absolutely what they say. And the other thing that's super important that nobody does is follow up, right? If they tell you, hey, we're only looking for people experienced, they tell you, oh, I'll get back to you. They don't respond to you. Message them a week later, message them 2 weeks later, message them 3 weeks later, right? They're gonna see, okay, this person's actually trying, these people with experience are not, why don't we give them a shot? Right? I'm telling you, if you do this, you make a loom for them, you send them a proper message, and you keep following up with them, it's very hard to pass up on you as a salesperson, even with no experience. So how do we make a good loom video, right? You have to first understand what they're actually looking for. These people are looking for your personality, they want to hear how you speak, your tonality, and they also look for your professionalism, right? So your personality, you can really show off a good one by just being yourself, not being like a dickhead, right? The second one is how you speak, right? This is something that's developed. You hear how I speak right now, where I would say I sound pretty confident. This is something that's developed. You have to do role plays with yourself over and over and over again until you sound good. And this is what you need to do with your looms. You need to film them 10, 20 times until they actually do sound good. Okay, in terms of your professionalism, the last thing, you gotta make sure that you look professional, right? Meaning, don't wear a hoodie in your video. Don't have your bed in the background, right? Don't have a baseball cap on. Have something that's not open to any negative interpretation. So now I wish I had an example I could show you guys, but for the sake of the video, it's just gonna take too long. So just because I want to be nice, if you add me on Facebook as a friend, just message me, hey, can you check out my loom video, and you send it to me, I will look at it for you. But please make sure you film it multiple times and you think it's actually good before you send it to me. Now, one more thing, there's actually a really great way to apply for offers outside of Facebook, and it's basically this sales pipeline bros thing that is run by this guy named Zach Brown. And a lot of my clients have run very, very good offers from this his agency. So I don't think he accepts everyone, but again, as I told you, if you genuinely try and you're able to get into this, your life is going to be a lot easier, right? And even if you don't get in, you'll still do just fine with normal Facebook groups. It might just take you a little bit longer. Now, one more thing a lot of people usually fall for on Facebook is scams, right? And there's a lot in this space. There's going to be people who you apply to an offer, they call you, hey, pay us $2,000, we're gonna actually find you a job, right? Don't do it. You shouldn't have to pay for anything to find an opportunity like this, okay? I don't care if you were onboarded for an offer and they told you, oh, there's a setup fee of $5 or $10. Don't pay a dime. I didn't have to pay a single penny when I was applying for offers, and you shouldn't either. Now, the way that Facebook offers work is that there's bad offers, there's okay offers, and there's really good offers, right? And I remember when I first started, I was on a lot of bad offers in the beginning. And you have to realize this isn't really something you can get around if you're new to this. It's kind of just something you can tell which one's good or bad with more experience in the game, right? But how I really got better, and I use this to my advantage, is that I saw every bad offer as kind of an opportunity for me to just try, right? Even though I knew I wouldn't make very much money, I had nothing to lose, and I was still taking sales calls. So I knew that if I could close sales calls on a bad offer, even though I wasn't getting paid the best, I knew that when that right offer came across my lap, I would be ready and I could do really well on it. Now, my only regret is that I stayed on some of these offers for just way too long. One specific offer in particular, I was on this one for 4 months, and I did really well. I got better at closing, and I made them a lot of money. But at a certain point, I was just tired of it. So at the 4-month mark, I was like, yo, I'm done with this, I'm out, right? And the problem was I signed a contract. I didn't really read the fine print. It said, if you leave before the 6-month mark, we are not entitled to pay you a dime. And what ended up happening was they didn't pay me anything after those 4 months. And it was just a really horrible experience. And if I had someone to kind of just tell me that was like, hey, this offer isn't good, you know, you'd be better off spending your time just finding a new offer, because instead of spending 4 months here, you could just spend 1 extra month finding that really good offer. If I had that, I would probably be 4 months or 5 months even ahead of where I am now. And this is exactly why I offer help for people, because if I can just tell you which offer is good and which offer is bad, and you only apply to the good ones, then eventually you're gonna find a really good one without spending any of your time on the BS bad ones. And the same thing goes for taking sales calls, right? If you have an objection that you just can't get past, you don't know what to say, I can just tell you, this is what you should have said instead, and then we just practice it until you get really good on your offer. So if this sounds interesting to you, this is exactly why I offer help for a very specific kind of person, where you know for a fact that you want to do remote sales and you're going to work hard, you just don't really know how to actually get there, right? And I basically help you A to Z. I carry you through the entire process until you get to 10K a month with remote sales. So again, if you know you want to do something like this, click the link below, sign up for a free call, and we'll see if it's a good fit to start working together.